obviously, Amara's got a new single, so I want her to talk about that first before we get into the panel. Do you want to talk about this new song? Because I love it. And Messia's friend of the show.
Yeah?
Yeah, we love him.
Awesome.
So tell me a little bit about the song.
Okay, so this song is called Celebra. Fun fact that I always have to mention, the song is actually called Celebrar, but because my manager doesn't speak any Spanish, he thought he just went with the sound, so he killed an R. So now the song is called Celebra. It's featuring Messia. As a proud Dominican, I love to support other Dominicans as well. He's a great artist. And this song actually came about through a producer named Buddha. Buddha is also Dominican from New York. Right. He was the one who made the connection happen, so I'm very grateful for that.
All right.
Yeah.
So you guys got to download it.
Yes.
Get it.
Download it. Show me some love. Gracias.
Request it.
Gracias. Show me some love by downloading it. I put a lot of work into this EP. And Celebra is part of one of the songs from my EP, Unstoppable. Unstoppable came out about 3 weeks ago. I'm very happy because it's my first full project after being signed to an American label, which is BMG.
Nice.
And then this is like a teaser because my official album will come out in summer, and I'm gonna start going into the studio to work on new songs. So we're working on it.
Did you guys see the cover of Unstoppable? Yes. Oh my gosh! Let me tell you, what a powerful picture. Who came up with that concept?
To be honest, myself, I like to be part of the creative direction of everything that I do. And I love, if you notice, a lot of my photo shoots or a lot of red carpet dresses that I wear, it's like very royalty influence. I like that whole queen vibe because I don't care what nobody tells me. I'm a queen, okay? Sorry.
Yes,
I believe that. And you have to believe
ma'am.
it. Once you believe it, you kind of give that demeanor, that aura, like royalty. You see me. So, I love the whole goldish, melanin popping concept of that photo shoot.
The whole thing was powerful. In fact, when we designed our flyer for this, I sent it to DJ Automatic and Anthony A. They were like, oh. And I was like, what? Don't be afraid. Like, she's so comfortable with herself. It's a powerful image. And I think that some people might be taken aback by that. But you're confident.
I think that it's important to be confident with your body as well, all this body shaming that we get these days and all the pressure that as women we get to look perfect, which is so... Listen, not all of us look like Kim Kardashian. And Kim Kardashian don't even look like Kim Kardashian. She bought it. So that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Perfection doesn't exist. I felt so much pressure from society for a really long time to look a certain type of way. I used to be 230 pounds. I lost the weight by dancing. I became a certified Zumba instructor. I was bulimic for like 3 years, stuff that a lot of people don't know. I'm telling you, listen, being in this industry, you get a lot of pressure to be this perfect person that is...
Well, and I don't know about you, but I call myself a social media cutter. Like, I can have 100 positive comments, and then that one negative, I'm just reading it over and over and over. Do you do that?
I surely do. It's terrible. Sometimes they'll be like, oh my God, I wrote you something positive and you didn't answer me, but you'll answer the one who wrote you something negative. And I try my best to talk to my fans as much as I can, but there's something about that one negative comment that just does something to me. And at the same time, I'm like, I have almost 2 million followers just on my Instagram alone. That's without counting every other platform. But just on Instagram, I have this amount of followers, and this one person can mess up my whole day. But I think it's just because we're human, you know what I mean? Especially when you work so hard to build your platform. You work so hard, even to put a picture. You take 1,000 pictures to post one. Then you edit it. You pick the filter. You pick the color. And you still have something negative to say.
You're like, I took an hour to pick that one picture, and you still got something bad to say to me.
Right. So I be hurting my feelings like, oh my gosh.
You know what, though? At least they took the time to go to your page to comment.
And
that's what I said.
And at the same time, you have to be grateful for that because if they ain't hating, that means you're not doing something right. So you need some haters in your life. Sometimes it's convenient to have some haters. It's convenient when they're talking bad about you because you're spreading your name around. All I make sure to say is, make sure you mention my name correctly. Make sure you spell my name right.
Tell them what it is, girl.
Y di lo que tú quieras. A mí que me importa. You ain't stopping my money.
That's right. That's right. So when Amara came in earlier to the studio, I told her we were going to talk about Latinas and our impact on the economy, our impact on advertising, and our impact on the culture. And she's like, well, I don't know much about the economy. And I was like, don't worry, girl, I'm going to spout off some statistics, and then we're going to get into this real talk. And to be honest, it's interesting to me because of all the negativity we see about Latinos, especially Mexican Americans right now. We talked about that
Yeah.
on not only social media, but on the news every day, in print, whatever. Little do we understand that Latinos have 20% impact on our GDP. Like, we are growing, and not just that, but especially the first generation. So it's very important to get a positive image of Latinos in general, I believe, into the public eye. So I wanted to ask you, as a Latina woman, and we're going to take your questions. I know everybody sent me questions. As a Latina woman in this industry, and especially Afro-Latina, was it difficult for you to break out? Were you treated differently, or do you feel you had an even platform from jump?
Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't. I've always been very open about it, and that's why I'm an activist for the Afro-Latino community. You know what I mean? I've always been very outspoken on the topic because I feel that if I don't see anybody doing it, who's going to do it? Like, is anybody going to say, do y'all see what's happening? Because nobody's really talking about it. Nobody's talking about the fact that you don't see people that look like myself in the covers of magazines, of Latin magazines. You don't see us in novelas.
I saw you on the cover of Latina. I was like, oh!
Yeah, but it took me having to talk about it on Love and Hip Hop, on VH1, of Viacom channel, in order for people to listen and pay attention to what I had to say. So I always thought that it was so unfair. You don't see us in movies. You don't see us anywhere. And it's not that they don't judge us based off our talent, based off our knowledge. It's based off our looks, because I am not what a Latina should look like. A Latina should look like Salma Hayek, like Sofia Vergara, like J-Lo. But if you look like me, you look African, you look Jamaican, you look Haitian, you look, anything else but Latina. And I think it's not fair. So it definitely, if it's hard being a woman in this industry, it's even harder being a Black Latina in this industry. Right. So I definitely felt it. I still feel it. That's why I'm working so hard to continue breaking barriers and opening doors for other people like myself. And that's why I am so proud to say that I officially made it in the list of the 25 most powerful Latinas with people in Espanol.
Yes, girl, yes.
So I'm very proud of that.
I love that you're so open about it, because I think some people in this industry are afraid to speak about it. I was for a lot of years. Growing up, I think we talked a little bit about this. Growing up in this part of the country was different. From Dallas to a small town in West Texas, I was always asked, what are you? Because my skin is very fair. Right. What are you? What are you? And so I was made to think that because I was of Mexican heritage that I was less than.
Right.
And I believe that. And I think a lot of people don't understand that it's self-conscious. We're taught that you're not enough. You're not good enough. This is better. So I'm proud of you because I didn't always feel that way, Amara. I used to lie and say, oh, no, I'm half white, or I'm this. I would lie because I was taught.
Yeah.
And my family believed subconsciously that being Latina wasn't good enough.
Well, the same thing goes for me. And I understand how a lot of celebrities don't take the role of actually talking about what's right or what's wrong or what's happening, whatever may be happening amongst their community, because nobody's trying to stop their checks, okay? And if me becoming an activist and me talking about this is unfair is going to stop me from getting booked, is going to stop me from getting money, nobody's going to do it. But in my case, I just can't stand for injustice. Like, it's not in my DNA. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I can't see something that is unfair to someone else and just sit there and be like, all right, well, I'm still getting paid. I just can't. Because I feel like it's not right. So if it's not right, is anybody going to stand up and say something? That's why we have lack of leaders these days. We don't have leaders like we had before. Because everybody has gotten comfortable. And that is the problem of my generation. That's why I am concerned about what the future holds. Because if this is us now, and history keeps repeating itself, how is it going to be 20, 30 years from now? You know what I mean? It's going to be even worse. So, like I said, somebody had to do it. With the good comes the bad. I do get a lot of backlash, even though that I am always perky, happy, and try to, put out a positive image.
Right.
But I do get a lot of nigger notes. I do get a lot of death threats.
Are you serious?
Of course.
I have seen some people, I told you, I've been a fan. I'm always reading your Instagram, arguing amongst themselves about who you are on your own Instagram feed. I'm like, oh my God.
Of course, because, I got my nose done. I take melanin shots. I take melanin pills. I lay under the sun for like 10 hours a day so that I can be as black as I am. I also spray tan. And I do blackface because I'm really a white person that does, that pretends to be black. So these are all the stupid comments that I have to read on a daily basis of people arguing and saying, Yeah.
I see it. Lo miro. I'm like, what are they arguing about with each other?
Listen, with the good comes the bad, and once you decide to take responsibility of becoming the voice or the face of a community, you have to understand that it is a big responsibility, you know? There's going to be a lot of backlash. There's going to be a lot of haters. There's going to be a lot of people. They're going to try to bring you down. And you just have to be able to have a strong skin to withhold it and just keep moving.
So before I take the first question from the audience, whose fault is it that especially Latina women have been treated like this? I wanted to say something. Gina Rodriguez recently read a real statistic, and I feel like she was kind of demonized. Maybe they took her comment out of context, but Latina women in this industry, in entertainment, are the lowest paid woman. We get 43 cents to the dollar. We're literally the lowest paid woman in our in the society in general. So why do you think that is? Whose fault is it, and how can we change it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the problem in the world is ours, period. We just love to blame other people for our issues. That's just what we naturally do. Oh my God, this didn't happen to me because they did that. Or this is not because somebody did this to me. No, you are the problem, period. You know, nobody likes to take that responsibility. We need to be accountable for our actions, for the way that we accept things. And that goes in as a whole for everything. If we were to unite forces, because I do believe que la unión está la fuerza. If we were to unite forces and all come together, it doesn't matter if you're Mexican, from Costa Rica, Honduras, Uruguay, Argentina, Cubana, Dominicana, it doesn't matter where you're from. If we come together as a whole and say, you know what? This is unfair. This is not right. We're not going to do it anymore. Value me. And let's all fight together. Then people will actually bother to listen. It's like back in the days when they decided to do, boycott, I don't know, the train station, the buses, the grocery store, the gasoline company, anything. When they start to see how their numbers go down, that's when they pay attention. If you just talk about it, they don't care. You're still giving them your money. If you come together and say, we're holding hands, we're not doing it. And it's not just us. It's a world movement. We're not going to do it until we see that you value us. The people will start to listen.
That pocketbook talks, for sure. All right, so I'm going to take some questions, girl, like I told you. By the way, I was going to give her the question.
Is y'all hot in here, or is it just me?
It's a little warm. No, you getting hot. You heating it up, girl.
Toasted.
You heating it up. So, Denise Hernandez, who is just so special. I met her. We've been in San Antonio now for 3 years, and she's just such a young activist in the community.
I love it.
She speaks very openly about being a strong, young Latina woman. So, your question, Otto, do you have a mic for Denise? Oh, she's got it. Okay, go ahead.
It's loud. Can you hear me?
Stand up, girl.
Okay.
You better stand up. She's tall, too. Look at her.
Tall.
She got them good genes. Go ahead.
We wavelength today, girl. Wow, it's an honor to meet you. You are even more gorgeous in person. I didn't think it's possible. As a person as well. But my question was, I know growing up, being brown in San Antonio, everybody looks like me, right? So it wasn't until I went to college that I saw that I was different. Or that I was darker than other people. And
you're darker than other people? Oh my God.
Shocking, right?
Imagine being like me.
I know it. And it was so shocking for me. And I didn't ever feel, or I didn't grow up thinking that I was beautiful or that I was, special in any way, because media didn't reflect that. And you spoke a little bit on it. So I want to know for you, when was that moment that you were like, wow, I'm beautiful and I know it and nobody has to tell me, or, I don't have to see it. I know who I am.
I am grateful that my mother was always that person that always made sure to tell me from a very early age, you are beautiful, you're talented, you're a queen, you're this. Sometimes I feel that parents don't really understand the power of their words. We look up to our parents, believe it or not. When you're little and something goes wrong, who's the first person you go look for? Mom, Dad. Yes. You can fix the world. I don't know how to fix. Mom. Anything, Dad, it's just like an automatic thing in your system. So sometimes I think that parents don't really realize how powerful their words are and how you can take that. At some point, maybe your parents, spanked you, but you might not remember the spank, but you remember what they told you that was hurtful to you, and you carry that with you. So I'm grateful that she always made sure, don't get it wrong, she still whooped my ass, but she still made sure that I always knew how powerful I was. And thanks to those words, I still carry them with me. And at an early age, I did know that I was pretty, it wasn't until I got to my teenage years when I started, gaining a lot of weight because there was a lot of domestic abuse in my home. There was a lot of things that, my mother was going through that she had to put up with because she didn't have no papers and, found someone who can help her. And he took advantage of that situation. The long story short, I started getting a lot of weight and I didn't feel beautiful.
This affected you internally.
Of course,
emotionally
and everything. And it also changed the way that I see men. It also changed the way that I see things in general as a whole, and made me feel very on the defensive all the time. Made me build a wall. It made me become more independent to make sure I don't need a man. I can do everything. Make sure you can learn as much as possible so you never have to go through what your mother went through. It built my character in a negative and positive way. So with that being said, at that age, I didn't really, loved myself as much, but it wasn't until I was about 15 or so. You know how they always teach you about Black history in school?
Yes.
I never bothered to pay attention. It was just like, okay, here goes another Black history month. Great. Here, yeah, I marked the game. This, okay, whatever. And I did my test. Yeah, okay, the month is over. Great. But about the age of 15, I started to pay attention to what they really did and how they were willing to sacrifice their life for others, for a whole community of people, how Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the list goes on and on. All the amazing things that they did, and then it was then when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop perming my hair. I started, going with the whole Afro movement. And then I think that was really the time where I just learned to embrace who I was, the color of my skin, the texture of my hair, my curves. I used to hate having a big butt. I used to hate having big thighs. No, because
I have the flattest butt and I hate it. Like, it's the worst thing because big booties are in.
No, pero go to a modeling agency and they will love you like that. They won't like this because this is not attractive.
Well, they love it now, don't they?
Más o menos. It depends. You have to force it in there. But for a very long time back then, I wanted to look like one of those Victoria's Secret models. Long arms, long legs, that long neck. But that's just naturally, I'm not built like that. Yo soy caribeña, I'm Latina. I come from African background. We have these natural big butts, thighs. I can't help it. I'm built like that. So I had to learn to love myself. I had to learn to embrace it. I had to learn to accept those things. My stretch marks, my cellulite, all of that. And I can still get it. So that's all I'm saying. You have to learn to get in that stage.
I love it. But you know what it is? It's about learning about yourself. Like you said,
right.
You accepted who you are, and that's part of the process of growing
it's not
as
easy.
a person.
It's not easy.
It's not easy at all. So the next question, Samantha, from Bean and Cheeseman. Here, pass her the mic. Bean and Cheeseman.
Yes, girl, I'm all about the cheese, man.
I love it.
So Samantha and her partner Nina couldn't be here, but Samantha is a blogger, and she just does so many wonderful things, and she's truly dedicated to empowering women.
Amen.
And talk about things that happen, especially with Latina women, but women in general, really.
Chingonas, yes.
Yes,
Me
they call them
gusta.
chingonas.
Yeah, so the question that I had was, now that you are obviously a chingona yourself, you're a businesswoman, you have to do a lot of business transactions. My question is, one, do we have a seat at the table yet? And two, how do you negotiate the pay that Dana was referring to when she was talking about Gina Rodriguez and saying we only get so much money? Because it is true, we don't get paid what we should. So what is your advice on getting that money? And I guess, do we have a seat at the table yet? Do we still need to work
Mija,
on
let
it?
me tell you about the seat at the table.
Okay, girl, I'm ready.
You create your seat at the table. And if there's no seat, you better squat it out and put your arms just like this. Okay? You belong in the table. That's the thing. Let's not ask to be given a seat at the table. We belong in the table. You already have a seat at the table. You just haven't taken that, como que, what exactly is the word that I'm looking for?
You're the initiative. You're waiting for an invitation.
I guess it is the initiative. Just take it. You belong there. And as far as the pay is concerned, I'll say this much. In life, hay un dicho en español que dice, perdiendo se gana. Sometimes in life, you have to lose a little bit to win a little bit. And losing a little bit, which I've lost, it hurts. It hurts when you see the money right there. And you know that you need it. But you know you're worth more. So you say no. And you have to believe it. Because a lot of times we ask for stuff, but we really don't believe it. Like, you don't believe that you are worth, let's say, $20. You think that you're worth $8, but you have to push for those numbers. A lot of times I get bookings, I get things that they want to give me una porquería, garbage money. But I got bills to pay, girl. And I be like, I want to get it. But then I think, if they give me this now, the word will spread that Amara La Negra will work for $5. So when I want to ask for 20, they'll be like, no. She could do it for $4. No. So it's just being able to accept and understand that in order to gain, in order to succeed, sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice and lose a little bit.
That's awesome.
I think it goes back to valuing yourself. And letting people know that. Look, I'm worth this, and this is what it is, and there's no negotiating it.
And then here goes another thing. If they pay other people that are just as good as you are, okay? If they pay them more, why are you not worth that?
Or men. Why do men get more? They just demand it. That's
Exactamente.
why. They just demand it.
No. So, girl, demand your worth. And if not, then keep it moving. Somebody will give it to you, trust me.
I love it. Okay. So, Aziza. Aziza's next.
Hi.
Aziza from MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I want to talk a little bit about Aziza. So she and I met on Instagram. We just talked about Instagram and what it means. Aziza works for MAD now, but she was someone who needed MAD. Her fiance was killed by a drunk driver, and there was a lot of trauma in her life, and she's healed by healing others. So I would like everybody to give her a round of applause, because she's very strong. And she's biracial, Mexican and Middle Eastern. So, girl, she got some stories.
Okay.
I stand up, girl, and ask her question.
Hi, hello. Well, thank you very much, first off, for coming out here and inspiring us, because the words of wisdom that you're sharing right now are just golden, 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 all around. As Dana said, yes, I've had my past, and I could have become a victim and stayed like that, but I refuse to do so, because I feel like you have to repurpose your trauma, and you have to realign yourself and then just go for it. And if there's not a seat at the table, stand on top of the table.
Right.
There you go.
But my question for you today is, basically, as an artist, who is it that inspired you to really get out there and just kind of push it? And also, who would you like to collaborate in the future with?
Okay, so I would say, I'm going to start backwards. Who would I like to collaborate with? I would like to collaborate with anybody that wants to work with me. I do. You know why? Because I love to know that people are passionate about it as much as I am. Sometimes you want to work with another artist that they'll just do the feature with you just to do it and then don't push it. It's just like, I did you a favor by being in this feature with you. No, I want you to want to work with me. I want you to want to push it. I want you to be as passionate and give as much love into this project as much as I am. And I want to be able to work whether you are on top or you might not even be popping, but you have a song that's great. I want to be able to work with you, because I also remember when I wasn't popping. And I remember those people who were willing to help me, and the ones that did give me the features. I don't forget. And I also remember the ones that told me no. Trust me, I do. Because I've had them slide up in my DMs talking about, let's do a song together. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm busy.
You got to remember the people that struggled with you, the struggle. You have to.
And listen, it takes a lot of balls to have to knock on doors and have those doors closed in your face. Or have them tell you, I can't right now because I'm the one that's popping. This is my time, so I can't share this moment with you. My respects, I get it. Therefore, when I'm popping, don't come knocking on my door. So that's just the way that the world works. That's just how, at least for me. Now,
who inspired you growing up, though? Who are you listening to?
I've always been very clear that my one biggest icon will always be Celia Cruz.
I love her!
Yes. Celia Cruz, because she was the only Afro-Latina that made it worldwide. Like, worldwide, through her music. And I had the opportunity of working with her in 3 different occasions. So being able to be in her space, her aura, her work ethic, huge work ethic. She was humble, her charisma, just who she was, her demeanor. And then obviously there were other women that I also admire, but as a whole, I would say La Lupe, Lupita D'Alessio, Olga Tañón, La India back in those moments. In Americano, Tina Turner, Donna Summers, Whitney Houston, Gloria Gaynor. I mean, there were a lot of beautiful, strong, powerful women that I admired growing up.
That was a great list. But Celia Cruz for me, too, just her just sheer power. And think of where she came from And to overcome all of that, like you said, and become a worldwide star was just incredible to me.
And one that I can't miss, I just didn't know necessarily how to place her. Definitely Selena, especially being out here. It gave me the opportunity of really tapping into that feeling. I remember singing her songs, imitating her. I think every girl did that at some point.
And her body, right? Her body,
her spirit. She was young. She was a free spirit on stage. I feel that all those artists, I was able to pick little things from them and add them to who I am today.
I love the way she talks. She's the artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that. And I want to ask you, when you talk, we talked about this on the air, people are like, oh, you're trying to be like Cardi B, but they don't really understand. I know we understand, but tell people about where you come from and why it is you talk the way you do and why it is you are who you are. Yes, thank you, because I think that it's because there's only a handful of Latinas in the industry. So there is no representation. So, you're trying to be like her when in reality is, like you said, there's a whole community of people.
Yeah, I've been myself, okay? So y'all need to stop it. They're like, oh my God, her voice is so annoying. Why does she talk so loud? Why is she using her hands? Wait a second, let me tell you something, okay? Primero que todo, antes que nada, I'm Dominican. So it's natural for us to talk with our hands and talk really loud. And we talk really fast. So just learn how to listen, because you listen too slow. Okay? That's just naturally how we are. If you see a group of us together, you're like, they're all Cardi B's. And it's not that we're all Cardi B's. It's that before Cardi came into the picture, we were already Dominican. We were already ourselves. We already had our culture. It just so happens to be that she got in the mainstream. And then, all the comparisons will always be, you're trying to be like this person, or why do you wear long nails? Why do you wear bedazzled? I always did it. It just so happens to be that she came on first. But, and not really, because before she came out, I was already popping in DR. Let's be clear, okay. But I'm not trying to be like anybody, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I don't try to copy anybody. I'm just myself, and if being myself is like, it feels familiar or similar to somebody else, and that's just what it is. But
how about the fact that there's enough room for everybody? Your success isn't taking from my success and her success. That is just so frustrating to me.
Yeah.
Like you said, as women, we have to lift each other up. How are you going to try to get ahead by putting someone else down? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Listen, I just feel igual, como dicen en español, lo que está para ti nadie te lo quita. What's meant for you it will always be meant for you. There's nothing that you can do. Your path is already written. And yes, there's certain things you can modify, but your purpose in this world was already sent with you when God put you in this earth. Your purpose is already there. You just need to find out what your purpose is. Some people are born knowing their purpose. That's why you see little kids that are, super intelligent, can play sports, can play piano, can play this, or can sing. They naturally already are born knowing their purpose. Other people need to explore, need to live life a little bit to be able to tap into it. So there's nothing that you can do. Listen, what's meant for you is meant for you. There's enough space for all of us. And if it's not meant for you, then you know what? Ask Jesus. Ask God. That ain't my fault.
Girl, you made me almost swallow this mic here. Okay, so our final question comes from a very good friend of mine. I met Janelli shortly after I moved here. I don't even know how we met, girl, but we became fast friends. She's beautiful.
Yes, she is.
She blogs for Style Lush. They put on some of the most incredible fashion shows. The production is amazing. So, Janelli, thank you for coming. Where's the mic for her? Where we got the mic? Yeah, because this is our final question. And
awesome.
Thank you for coming, because I know you got a busy
final
life.
questions. We don't have any Q's and A's. You're more than welcome.
Yes,
to.
no, that's the final mic.
Okay, because I'm here for y'all.
Yeah, we're doing this. Okay, stand up, Mama, so you can, yes, let's do it.
Hi, doll.
Hi, doll. And swab it.
Fellow Dominicana.
Hey, Plátano Power in the house. I love it.
But yes, as a fellow Dominicana, Afro-Latina, beautiful woman, how hard has it been to really break the stereotypes of those standard, those Eurocentric beauty standards? Because, for example, myself, my curly hair, it wasn't always like this. I would treat it and blow it out and hated my hair. So what would you tell young women about breaking through those barriers and breaking those Eurocentric beauty standards?
Like I said earlier, it's just mainly about learning to love yourself and embrace who you are. You know what I mean? Everybody's trying to be like somebody else. Everybody's trying to follow a trend. That's why I don't follow trends. I wear whatever I want. I go to a thrift store and I buy things that are on clearance. Buy two, get one free. Like, I live my life. I don't care what none of y'all tell me. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day that I die, none of your opinions mattered. Nothing that you ever said to me mattered. So I need to make sure that I live my best life and make sure that I'm happy within myself. I think that if we were to all be more like that, we would be happier and we would be less concerned about what other people have to say about you. Everybody's trying to, look like somebody else. That's the biggest problem. That's why I think that I started wearing my fro, and I was very clear about that too. I rocked my natural fro for a very, very long time. Then it became hard with this lifestyle. You have to have a perfect afro 24/7. So I started adding hair pieces. And I still didn't care because I could have chosen to wear this hair, this horse hair, or God knows whose hair this is. I could have chosen to do that. But I decided, you know what? I'm going to rock something that's more, that goes more with what I naturally have, which is, my textured afro hair. And I think that I also used to rock my hair. It was mainly as me being rebellious. For all the people that said that my hair was nappy, pelo pasa, pelo malo, bad hair, this, that, I'm going to wear it, I'm going to rock it in your face 24/7. I'm not going to change it hasta que me dé la gana a mí to change it. And then on top of that, that's why I chose the name Amara La Negra, period. It was my way of being rebellious to those that had something negative to say. So it's a long journey because even in my own country, I get bashed a lot. All the time, and I'm sure you've read it or you've seen the comments. I've gotten bashed for being an activist. Amara La Negra saying that in the Dominican Republic we're racist.
They are.
Girl, that is something that we never talk about enough. I don't even think we do talk about it. We were at the Oscars. Have you seen Roma, the movie Roma?
I haven't had a chance.
Well, the director said something because of Yalitza. The star, she's indigenous of Mexico.
Yeah.
So many people saying the most hateful, terrible things about her. There is internal racism within the Latino community that nobody talks about ever.
A eso era que yo me refería. I never meant to say that in the Dominican Republic was a racist country. No. I meant to say that there is in a Latin country that doesn't exist racism. In the U.S. is not the only place where there's racism, even amongst our own community. If you have more European features in every part of the world, you're more accepted than if you look more indigenous, like you said, or if you look more of African descent. That's just naturally how it's built. I don't care who tells me what, because it's like that. Why haven't we seen more novelas or more movies with women like her?
But that's what I mean, because they're all picking and choosing what has been established as norm.
And as otra cosa también, I'm sure that, that's a very popular thing. Las novelas in Mexico is very popular. We all know, we've all seen it. Univision
Girl,
is all
popular here too.
Univision, Tele Azteca, all these channels, Televisa, all these channels, that's the main thing. And when they pick them, the more European, blue eyes, blonde hair, that's what all Mexican women look like. Who said that? That's
Girl,
a damn lie.
Exactly.
So I need to see, in order for me to fall back a little bit, I need to see more versatility when it comes to that. When they talk about Latinas, even in these channels like Telemundo, Univision, all these major networks, you're representing what Latinos are, well, then you should have a little bit of all of us. And I just came out in the new commercial that they did for Univision.
I saw that.
I posted it on my social media. And if you pay attention, I was the only black Latina they picked every woman from the channel. And I was the only black Latina. The only ones that they had that also come from African descent, but still don't say anything because ain't nobody trying to lose their job. Francisca La Chapelle, that she's also Dominican. Hilda Calderon, I believe, as well.
I think that's her name, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's her name. I might be wrong. Tony Andrades also is one of like two people in the whole network. So it's just stuff like that I feel like we really need to come together and protest, say something about it, because what are your children going to have to look up to? They don't have any role models to look up to, at least when it comes to TV. So something is wrong with the system.
Well, and that's part of the problem. When you only see, and we're going back to the beginning of our conversation, when you only see negative images of who you're supposed to be or your culture, then you perceive yourself subconsciously negatively. Right. That's what I said. Like, I used to lie and say, I'm not that, I'm this, because I was ashamed. And now I'm proud. Like, I realize what I have to offer, what I bring to the table that I'm sitting down on.
Of course.
And you have to value that. You have to value yourself above anything. And it's not really, it is about where you come from, but it's where you end up to.
Of course.
It really is about where you end
and
up.
how many, I don't know if you guys have heard this, right? But I've heard it plenty in my whole life. And maybe only black people I know this, I don't know. But have you ever heard of bettering the race? Hay que mejorar la raza. I've heard this my whole life. And that's why, I never dated black. Ever. Like, I never dated a black. Me, ew, black. Oh, my God, I cannot. No, because I have to better the race. My babies have to have good hair, okay? My babies cannot have
This is a conversation that, I would talk about my own family saying things like, ay, está pretita or está güera. Está pretita or salió güera or salió pretita.
Right. Yeah, I always heard that.
Don't do that in my presence because I will call you out now, family or friend.
Right, and I always used to hear that, you don't want your kids with nappy hair. You don't want, and they would say like, oh my God, you came out black, but you came out with the good features. Look at your nose. You don't want to mess that up having kids, with somebody that has big lips and a big nose. You don't want that was just what I heard over and over and over again. And I'm not saying from my mom, I'm saying from the community, from the Latin community, just like you hear it in Mexico también. And it took me such a long time to unprogram myself from that, from that concept of being black is bad. Because then I realized if being black is bad, then you're making me self-hate myself. Because then what am I? You know what I mean? It took me a long time to fix it. And like that, there's so many, stereotypes in the Latin community that we have to reprogram ourselves into a positive image and also be able to teach that to the new generation growing up. So if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Because TV and social media surely is not.
Hell no, they're not.
So it's our responsibility to make a difference.
I would be lying if I said that having fair skin has not been an advantage. It has been. People treated me differently. And not only that, but when I was younger, when I first started in the workforce, I had a child at 15, so I was very young. People would say things in my presence, not knowing that I was Mexican-American, about Latinos. And I was so afraid to say anything because I didn't want to lose my job. I'm living check to check. That will never happen again. And it was hard because they would say these things. And so then I thought, well, I'm not a good enough person.
No, me too.
I'm not good enough.
I got it all the time. That's why hablar poquito español, no entender. Yeah,
no
so that I
entender.
can hear what it is that you're saying in Spanish. I understand everything, pero no understando mucho. What? Exactly. But you know what? You live and you learn. Everything has been a learning and growing experience from me. It's what you take from every failure or every experience that builds your character. No failures.
They're life lessons.
They're life lessons.
They're just life lessons.
They're life lessons. That's just what it is.
So now I'm going to do a quick Q&A. Anybody want to ask a question? Okay, here.
Ooh, you're ready.
He like, I'm ready. I'm ready. And I'm glad you're a man. Okay. We need a man question.
Well, I was just,
Want the mic?
I was kind of thinking of a question that I really wanted to ask you, and I am a man. I'm male, obviously.
Yes.
What's your take on the Me Too movement in women in the industry, whether it be movies, whether it be singing? Did you ever experience that, or
maybe be a part of the Me Too movement? Like, do you feel like you have an obligation maybe to be a part of Me Too, or how do you feel about it in general?
I think it's great that women are supporting each other and they're coming along as one. It sucks that it has to be a movement, that it's like when they make it, the Black History Month or Women's Day, or, why does it have to be one day or a month? Why does it have to be a movement in order for us to support each other? But I get it. If that's what it took, then that's a beautiful thing. Do I support these women? I do. Do I consider myself part of the movement? Like I said, I just don't like the fact that it has to be a movement. Because I support women no matter what. If there's anything that's wrong, I'm there to support you and hold your hand and uplift you. I think that what they're doing is great, and they're at least bringing self-awareness to what's happening amongst our community. And so I think is a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, do we have another question? Okay, you want to pass? Here, give her the mic.
Hello. I have two questions, actually.
Go for it. I'm all yours.
One of them is Dana had mentioned earlier that, big butts are in, you know what I'm saying? Curls are in again, girls are out here getting perms. Not going to say any names. But you notice, on social media that now things that weren't in before that women of color normally have, that are the way that we come, are starting to be the wave
do you think that like we should take advantage of that, or do you think that it's something that we should tell people are not okay?
Do you feel, I think your question is it cultural appropriation?
Exactly,
Do you feel
yes.
like
Yes.
if somebody who's not maybe of African descent decides, oh, I'm going to get a butt implant and I'm going to, perm my hair because I want to look this way, is that stealing someone's culture, or is
I feel
it?
like if it's not so much stealing culture, but are you just gonna pretend like for so long you weren't suppressing us? Like you're embracing us now. That's awesome, but are you really gonna sit here and act like for a really long time you weren't bashing us for being born with those
women?
things?
I mean,
Right.
recently I saw an article about a woman working for an airline that was told not to wear her braids. to work. In this day and age.
Right.
That
so
boy who was wrestling and
Yeah.
they made him cut his dreads off. Like,
So how do you feel about that? Like in general, that's a pretty broad question. So answer any way you want.
It is. Let me figure out how to tap into this real quick. I think that we have also become, I don't want to say that we become sensitive, because anything could be an issue. Oh my God, you just said nigga. It's over. You're not
I'm triggered. I'm outraged. Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's not like every rapper
God.
in the history of music has said nigga this. You can't say it. You can't sing the song. You can only hear it, or whatever. It's like, I feel that we've become a little sensitive to certain things. Instead of trying to find a solution, we keep trying to debate and argue on certain things.
That don't matter.
And it's not that it doesn't matter. It's just that I feel that we have already somewhat surpassed that. There are bigger issues like Black Lives Matter. There are bigger issues in the world right now than little things like as if you're wearing braids and you're white. You can't do that. So now we're going to fight. You know what I mean? Or, oh my God.
We're going to throw down now.
It's going to go down because you just put butt implants. You're trying to have a big butt like me. That's it. I don't like you. It's over. Let's fight. Like, dude, we're being killed out here. Like, they're really killing us, not for play. They're really putting our children in cages. Like, there's real shit happening out here that goes beyond of who has a butt implant, who wore what. Like, I get it, but I get how you can feel that you're taking a part of our culture and you're making it into yours. In that case, then let me feel as if I'm glad that our culture, I'm glad that the way that God made me has influenced you to want to copy me. Go ahead and buy it, because God gave it to me for free. You know what I mean? Let's embrace it that way instead of feeling like now we're even dividing ourselves even more based off those things. So that's just the way that I feel about it, and I don't want to make it seem as if it's not a sensitive topic. I don't want to make it seem as if it's not important, because it is very important to a lot of people. That's just the way that I view things.
No, but I understand when you brought up the cages, there's 45,000 people in ICE detention. Let's not argue about braids, because it takes away from the real issue. And some of the things on social media that a lot of people don't understand, a lot of these negative things are started by bots. And this is so deep. They're not even real. They're creating this division because we become weak when we're divided. Together, we're strong.
Right.
Together, we're strong. So let's not have these arguments over things that, like you said, they matter, but they're just not as important as the big issues that we have to tackle. You talked about people, during the civil rights movement, from Chicanos to African Americans, sacrificing literally their lives to help a community that really needed it.
Right.
This isn't about just hair and, implants. It's really about a lot.
But then again, I do understand where you're coming from, because they've also taken our fashion. They've taken many things, and, even spray tanning. That before it was like being black is bad, but then again, you lay under the sun for 10 hours trying to look like me. So I'm not really sure how I should view it. I do understand where you're coming from, but I just really wish, and I understand as well how they use social media, they use fashion, they use TV to kind of move your attention from the big issue to little stuff like this. You know what I mean?
Don't get distracted.
Don't get distracted from the bigger picture. That's really what we should be fighting for. You said nigga, okay, great. We've been saying niggas for a long time. And even worse, behind closed door, you probably call us niggers anyways. Great, whatever. The big issue is that you're killing us. The big issue is that you're dividing us. The big issue is that they're separating little babies from their mothers. That's the big issue, you know what I mean? That's really what I feel that we should tap into more.
Girl, I need an applause for that. Yes. All right, so we can do one more question. Shadia? Okay, let's do two. Go ahead, mama. I don't want to cut anybody off. Where's the mic? I'm like, I lost the mic.
Who got it?
The mic. Okay.
Oh my God, I'm getting under boob sweat every time I turn off that air. Okay.
I'm an upper lip sweater. I'm like.
I'd be like.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Okay, so I get a little nervous because
you good.
You're so beautiful.
Girl, we friends.
Okay, but so recently I've been going back into being an artist. So for a while I kind of stopped doing music just because I'm not the norm look, because like I have a gut and it's not really popular. So what kind of advice would you give for me? Because I have 2 small kids too, and I'm trying to branch myself back out there in the music. So would it be like a bad thing to go out there and not kind of like leave my kids behind, but what kind of advice would you give me?
We just had this talk backstage.
Girl, you are asking the wrong person. Because we were just talking about it backstage. Okay, so I'll say this much. At least for the American industry, I would say that they're a little bit more open-minded, because we have a lot of women that are very talented that are in the industry right now that don't have, this super model, petite, or whatever type of body. They're more open into, as long as you're talented and you at least got some fashion statements going on, girl, we'll get you stylist, we'll fix your hair, we'll put you on some, boom, 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 and you're gonna be great. So that really, I don't think would be the issue. You having 2 kids, I'll say I personally don't have any children, so it's hard for me to say. I would say, I've thought about it many times because, my ovaries are going to start clicking eventually. So we have to start thinking what we're going to do. But the thing about it is that when you're in a place in your career, you know that you always want more. It's like I first wanted a Grammy, now I want 10. I first wanted this, now I want that. That's just the way that life is. It's not leaving your kids behind, but
you know what though? It's working. And this is the thing that society places a great burden.
Ain't nobody trying to. Okay.
I got kids, and society places a great burden on mothers and does not place the same burden on fathers. Automatic was never asked, "Why are you traveling so much? You just had a kid." I was asked that on the regular. "Why are you traveling so much? You just had a baby." Well, he did too. If it's about work, if it's about putting food on the table, then that's what you got to do.
Listen, I'll say this much. In life, it's all about how bad do you want it. If you want something bad enough, you're going to figure out a way to make it happen. And that's just what it is. You only have one life to live. You choose how you want to live it. What you don't want to do is regret not having done. That's the worst feeling ever. You don't want to be 50, 60 years old saying, I could have been this. I could have done that. Just do it. That's the best advice I can give you.
Regret tastes terrible. Shadia, last question.
Last one. Because I know they said, wrap it up, wrap it up.
Hey, Amara.
Hi.
Nice
to
meet you.
No, she fell on Miami. She fell on Miami.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's why you loud like that. Hi.
Born in Panama, raised in Miami.
Love it.
Being raised in Miami, you
Yes.
grow up in a culture of all cultures.
Right.
You grow up
Very versatile.
going to the Colombian festival, Dominican festival, all the festivals, right?
Yes.
How difficult is it for you to go back home to the Dominican Republic? Do you feel like you're embraced there because you pretty much have 2 homes? You're
Right.
Dominican Republic and Miami.
Yes.
And then coming back, you see like all the negative things that people do say for you here. Do you feel like you get that back home as well?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
And how do you deal with that stuff?
The thing is that not everybody's gonna like me, and that's just the way the world is built. You know what I mean? Yes, I'm very friendly and bubbly, and I want everybody to like me, and I want to be cool with everybody, but it doesn't work like that. Everybody has their thoughts and their opinions about you, and I do get embraced in the Dominican Republic. I do have a lot of people that love me and support me and have open arms for me, but at the same time, you do have your little group of people that always have something negative to say, because that's just the way that the world is set up, and here too. So it's just being able to learn how to balance, what really matters and what doesn't. If people love you and embrace you, take advantage of that. And the ones that don't, I don't believe in haters. I just believe that they're confused fans. They really love me deep inside. Deep down in their heart, they really love me. So that's just how I feel about it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. This was so important to me. I told Amara before, I said, I'm going to fan out now because, and then I said some cuss words, because I've been following you for a long time.
Thank you.
I am a genuine fan, but not only that, I feel like you're just so powerful, and you are part of, I know you don't like the word movement, but you're part of we need to band together. We need to come together as a community, and less divisiveness and more united.
Amen.
So thank you, Amara, so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love you,
guys.
girl.
Go follow me at all my social media platforms at Amara La Negra AON. Amara La Negra AON. Most definitely go download my EP Unstoppable and the new song I'm promoting, Celebra.
Celebra. Let's put it on. Can we take quick pictures, you guys?
Yes.